This is the new Hyundai Tucson, and for me, it's a bit like that really popular kid back in school. You know, the one who was a little bit posh, although highly intelligent, was also quite sporty, and it just made you highly jealous of them, and almost made you think, how are you good at everything? For me, that's this, because it's one of the most popular family SUVs on UK roads. You can't go 5 minutes without seeing a Tucson these days. And although it has a rather premium and posh interior, its exterior design feels quite cool, which I think sometimes quite hard to get for a family vehicle. And with this refreshed, revamped Tucson, it's somehow got even better. First, let's talk design, and by now you probably know what a Tucson looks like. This face hasn't particularly changed from its last update, even the one before, because 2 generations ago, the Tucson didn't house this type of grille. It was a lot more sort of squished and looked a bit clunky and awkward. They implemented this type of grille and that LED headlight design, and not too much has changed. Now it is a little bit more refreshed. You have that blacked out Hyundai logo, which kind of blends in with that front grille. The LED light design has only changed in the sense that it doesn't go down here as its own separate module. It's incorporated into that front grille, so it kind of just looks a bit more modern, a lot sleeker. So Hyundai haven't really updated the exterior design of the Tucson, but they've not needed to. It's very much its own signature style. It works quite clearly. It's one of the most popular cars on the roads today. And I just think them subtle changes has been slowly making it tick on and just almost keep at the forefront of the UK car market. It keeps modernising whilst not going too far away from the Tucson. Unlike the Kona that had a complete revamp and a complete facelift, the Tucson hasn't done that, not since 3 generations ago of this model. And I think I quite like that, because why change what's not broken? Likewise, with its side profile, the Tucson kind of sticks to that rugged yet premium SUV look with all the different bevels and the door paneling, and the alloy wheels have kind of had a slight tweak, but same size as what they were before, and ultimately they still just look good. And I think they kind of incorporate with the actual styling, the fact you have all the different sort of jagged edges and the dips in the side, kind of link into that alloy wheel design that's, you know, all flows nicely and is all symmetrical. So you're probably looking at this exterior and seeing them slight subtle changes and almost questioning, well, what's actually new? Well, the most noticeable change when it comes to new Tucson comes with the interior design and layout, because somehow Hyundai have made the Tucson even more premium and a lot nicer, because the layout is slightly different. You will get this curved panoramic infotainment screen linked to your digital dash. You'll get a slight little storage shelf above your glove box, this floating module design which just utilizes the space so much better. In here we'll have all your controls for your 360 parking cameras and your drive mode selector, as well as a wireless phone charging pad. Plenty of space in the storage under there, which you'd probably expect for a car of this size. It's a rather sizable mid-size SUV, bordering on to large. But I just think the way they've altered the layout ever so slightly kind of makes it feel like a brand new car. Because you have somewhat of an old school system when it comes to climate controls, because they're buttons but like on a touchscreen, so it has that modern twist. And that's nice and flush to the dashboard and just leaves so much space to store things down here, and also giving you plenty of space that if a passenger wants to charge the phone and you're using a wireless charging pad, then you can plug it in, hide all your wires down here, and it's not seeping over and it looks messy. But you also get the logo design like you do in the new Kona, where it isn't actually a Hyundai logo, it's 4 dots, which is Morse code for H. Smart thinking. The infotainment screen I think is nicely laid out, because not only do you have shortcut buttons underneath, making it a lot more user friendly, it's just so responsive. Now, if you've ever been in a Kia, then that's pretty much identical, because with Hyundai you'll get access to the Blue Link app. If you sync it up to this, then you get live weather updates. You can save your favourite football team and see how they're getting on. You'll get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. You also get parking cameras, but opt for higher specs, and they utilise 360, which is also then housed in digital dash, because when you indicate, your blindside camera will come up, just making it much safer. There's no wonder it's a popular family SUV. Of course, you're going to get your adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist settings on your steering column, and even just like how the gear selector is actually next to your steering wheel, rather than taking up space in the middle and having a bit of a dial here. It's out the way, but it's still in a reachable position that is not really awkward and you're almost looking for it. It's so much easier without making this overcrowded. And I just think any car just looks so much better with a panoramic sunroof and one that actually opens. I sometimes find it a bit annoying when they don't have a retractable sunroof and it's just a cover that comes over. That comes with a top spec, and I just think it excels. So yes, this is a premium interior, but you are paying a premium for it. Because if you were to opt for the top spec, the plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive Ultimate, then it's going to set you back about 48,000, which is certainly in the higher bracket when it comes to a family SUV. Now, if you did want the Ultimate and you want all them fancy features and treat yourself and be relaxed on the 9 to 5 commute, then you can make it a little bit cheaper by opting for the petrol manual variant, because that is around the £38,000 mark. But if you just like the look of the Tucson, you like how it drives, you can make it even cheaper, go for the base spec manual petrol, and that's going to set you around the £33,000 mark, and you're still going to be getting all of these features from standard. What I quite like about the Tucson is there's so much customization, because it's not a case of, well, the top spec being Ultimate, which only comes in a plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive variant, so you're going to be paying extortionate prices. You can get the Ultimate in any of the 6 different powertrains. All them 6 powertrains will utilise a 1.6 litre turbo engine, and these consist of a manual and automatic petrol, a hybrid and all-wheel drive hybrid, plug-in hybrid, all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid. That's an absolute mouthful, but you get the gist. It's quite refreshing that a manufacturer has allowed so much customization on such a popular car, and I just think that's the reason why it's so popular. The Tucson is just notoriously a great family SUV, and I think its practicality in its space and storage in the rear seats and the boot just excel that point and almost just prove it, because there's good amount of legroom, and the way the doors open at almost a 90-degree angle, it just makes using a car seat, getting kids in and out of it, just so much easier because you've got more room to maneuver. And just how tall the actual doors are, it just makes a family road trip or nip into the shops putting your kids in the back that just a bit more stress-free. And not to mention, your kids will be riding in style. You might almost have to ground them on the school trip and be like, right, you have to work hard to get this type of luxury, because that's what it feels like. They almost might just take it for granted, because you get air vents with separate climate controls in the back, 2 USB-C chargers, a built-in sun visor, and depending on your spec, you will get rear heated seats, which can actually be controlled in the back rather than constantly asking the driver to turn it on or off. Fold down armrest with 2 cup holders. What I like is it's nice and sturdy. There's no limpness around here, so it's more comfortable rather than just flopping down here. And just the styling of the seats, as mentioned, this is the Ultimate, so depending on your spec, seat designs will vary. But with just that pattern design, which is very simple, it's just a load of dots on a bit of leather, but it works. Simplicity sometimes is the key to success. The only thing you might be questioning if you're a parent looking at this model, cream interior with kids, not a cat and owl's chance, but you can alter that. This is kind of an added extra depending on your spec and what interior colour you want. For me, I think it looks great. Practicality, if you're a parent, might not be the best. Added to all that space and storage in the rear seats, and also what you get as a driver and passenger in the front, you also get so much boot capacity. Depending on your spec, it varies slightly, but you're going to be getting around the 600 litre boot capacity. But if you do drop them rear seats, then you're going to get over 1,700 litres. So yes, it makes for a great family vehicle as you run to the shops, going on holiday. But if just you and your partner fancy a bit of a spruce up of your house and want to go to IKEA, take out the parcel shelf, drop them rear seats. You can get your whole office furniture in the back of here. You of course get a bit of clever underfloor storage as well, just to optimise that boot capacity. And the only real difference between them specs is if you go for a petrol, you're going to be getting around 620 litres. If you go for a plug-in hybrid, that reduces ever so slightly to about 560, 570. But that's just because you've got more engine, you've got more batteries, you've got more stuff going on underneath, so it kind of squishes it a little. But still, 570 litres is almost class leading when you look at the mid-size SUV category. Obviously, the power tailgate comes depending on your spec. I mentioned that it's quite hard for a family SUV to sometimes look cool, but what certainly helps the Tucson is its light design, not just at the front, but certainly at the rear. You get this LED light bars comes all the way across, and these jagged edges which go down. You also get them type of bevels that you do at the side. It's very much synonymous to the Tucson, has been for years. And a little spoiler effect and chrome plates at the side. It's just a very smart looking car. And I think that's what I love the most about the Tucson is it's practical, but it's also a family car that if you were driving to work, it don't feel like a tank, it don't look like a tank, and it certainly doesn't drive like one. Now, it's all well and good having a family car which looks good both on the exterior and on the interior and having a few premium features. But if out on the road it drives like an absolute tank, then it might almost start to question your life choices and almost resent the need to have a family SUV. But this is where the Tucson somewhat stands out, because across them 6 different powertrain options, you're going to get 0 to 60 times ranging from 7.5 to the higher 8s, which of course on paper isn't something highly impressive, but I think for a car of this nature in this category of being a safe family vehicle, I think allowing a 0 to 60 of 7.5, even 8.5 is good. Obviously that's massively helped by the hybrid and plug-in hybrid variants, which allow you to actually drive in full EV, giving you around 45 miles of pure electric driving. So despite being a family car, it's still rather enjoyable. And like I said about the interior, it feels like a car that fits all purposes. But realistically, performance isn't going to be the deal breaker when it comes to getting a family car. It's going to be safety. Good thing to note about the Tucson, all safety features will come as standard. The likes of adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, hill start assist, blind spot detection, reversing camera, and also emergency braking. And obviously, depending on your spec, you will get the addition of 360 parking cameras, which then integrate into your digital dash. When you indicate like so, your blindside camera will pop up on your dashboard, so you've got full vision around you. Saying that, the vision outside is great. I mean, the windscreen's massive, the wing mirrors are even bigger, so I don't think being able to see your surroundings is going to be any worry at all when it comes to driving a Tucson. I do just like how it feels out on the road. It's on the larger side when looking at a mid-size SUV. You do sit higher up than obviously like a compact SUV, but you're not so high that I feel like I'm towering over. It kind of sits just nice and snug where you've got a good seat and vision around you, but it doesn't feel like you drive something absolutely huge. And if I, as a 5'5" bloke, say it doesn't feel overly big, then it definitely doesn't. The only thing I do find a bit strange is it does have multiple driving modes, but it's eco or sport. That's it. And I just think, where's normal? What if I don't want to drive in eco? I think that's mainly when it comes to the hybrids. When you're in eco, it'll just start to utilise your EV power more, and it will switch into that all-electric mode whenever it can. But I do think it weird that you can't just toggle it to normal. It's just eco and sport. I think that's kind of the only downside, because with this being the top spec hybrid, it has everything that you want and more. Just think it maybe could have utilised more driving modes. The infotainment screen, because it's kind of got that panoramic look to it, the way it's curved and integrated into your digital dash, it will reduce the glare when you're driving because it's angled towards you. You're not having to kind of look around if the sun's shining through. So I think that's why the climate control screen just works great, because it adds that functionality. It adds just that better user friendliness, if that's even a word. User friendliness, I'm sure it is, but I'm pretty sure you know what I'm getting at. And even though I'm more of a pie and Guinness type of bloke, sometimes I do like a bit of caviar and champagne, you know, who doesn't? So I kind of just been driving for the last 5 minutes, not really thinking about anything, just watching the world go by, you know, being at one. And it almost doesn't feel like I'm driving a family SUV. It feels like I'm just driving an SUV, and it's dropped that family aspect about it, because there's certainly nothing boring, there's nothing necessarily dull. It just seems like a normal car. And what many cars do you know that when you're on the motorway, it can allow you to have a meltdown because your favourite team is now in 13th. Maybe that's why they've made it so safe, for dads constantly checking the football score and just having a little cry about it. So then, here's 5 things that I love about the updated Hyundai Tucson. The first being design of the front grille. Yes, it's not particularly changed over recent years and recent models of the Tucson, but I just love how now it's slowly morphed into one. There's a front grille there, there's branding there, and there's LED headlights all morphed in, all synced in, looks great. Number two, it's performance across all spec levels. The fact you will get the same 1.6 litre turbo engine, even on the cheapest base spec, is giving value for money. And with 0 to 60 times ranging from higher 8s to mid 7s, certainly could be one of the more exciting family SUVs to drive. The third being its comfort, because even as a passenger, depending on your spec, you'll get electronically adjustable seats, you'll get so much space and storage, both in the pockets, in this centre module and the shelving unit. It can have heated seats, it can have ventilated, and it can even go for a little nap. The fourth being its side profile, because for me, there's absolutely no need to add them design details on the doors and also down the back end of the car. The fact they do it in a car park, it just stands out. I mean, look at that. That's just attention to detail seen across all specs. It just looks great. And last but not least, that very small update of having that curved integrated digital dash and infotainment screen. It might not look much to someone who doesn't constantly look at cars and is constantly driving different ones, but I just think that's made all the difference. It's gone from just being a good family SUV to something that could almost attract a new audience, because it has just made that little tweak and change from being nice car to wow, what a car. So then, what's my verdict on the new and updated Hyundai Tucson? Well, for me, it's just so evident why this car is so popular, not just for parents, but also just everyday car users doing work commutes, doing long motorway trips. Because it looks good, it drives well, has all the safety features that you could wish for, even from the base spec, and an interior which is just on the cusp of luxury. Make a few tweaks, add a few additions, and it will get there. You get so much practicality with its space and storage, and ultimately, I just think it's almost a car for all, because as I said, it has that premium nature. If you were hosting clients and you wanted to take them somewhere, you won't feel ashamed to put them in that. The Tucson seems to do it all. The only downside to it is its price point. If you want the ultimate and you want a plug-in hybrid, it's teetering on £50,000. And for me, looking at the wider car world, you might get a slightly better car for that price point. If they brought that down, then I just think it would be an absolute world beater. Saying that, base spec petrol, 33,000, I really don't think you can argue with it. But if you want to book a test drive on the updated Hyundai Tucson or any of its Hyundai brothers or sisters, then contact Corkills Hyundai Northwich.